about what's going on here. So first things first, my name is Kenneth Bird. My company is ILEG, Infusion Light Energy Gain. And we like to call our channel Christian Home Theater Screens. Now, my technology that I've been blessed to have has been given to me by my Lord and Savior. We're a Christian-based company. And we have, down through time, represented all types of interesting technology. This would be the first one we've ever had anything like this. So usually when a screen is, we have a screen that pretty much changes another screen. Silvers do that. Silvers can cause gray screens to become orange. They can become a grayish look to them. It can pretty much disrupt the screen. Silvers usually do those. We had a screen called an AG47. It was basically something I was testing against Seymour AV's 1.3, which is actually an extremely good silver screen, by the way. And it beat two of my screens, and I said, well, we can't have a match. We have to have a screen overpowered. So this is where an AG47 came in. It's the exact formula, or somewhat of the formula, that's used in black screens we have today that allow them to generate extremely high white levels. Now we have this new product here. This is a new form of transfer gain. It allows light to transfer through it. It can generate off just off anything, pretty much powers the screen. Right now we're at 50 lumens. Now, one of the tests we were to do on a screen that's completely transparent was able to generate light from the sun that pierced the screen and was able to generate at 50 lumens on the opposite side. That tells us at the end of the day exactly how powerful the gain is going to be on this technology. Mind you, technology is at 10. When it comes to the clear, these are the black ones that are at 15. The black ones do something completely different. If you lay a gray screen against one of these, the white levels on a black screen generate 10 times higher, to a point where the gray screen now becomes discolored. I mean, not even the colors are registered. I've been in and out of forum sites for, if you haven't seen me doing any lives, I've done a lot of promos. I told you we're flooding. We got promos. Promos are bouncing everywhere. They're all over Google. We got them everywhere. Social media, we're on Facebook, we're on forum sites. And even with the gray screens, they're in there baffled, like, how the freak is this even possible that a screen this black can literally generate a white level that high? So I said before, first thing that picked up was the window with the 50 lumens, because usually we would never use a 50 lumen projector. I said roughly 4,000 to hit sunlight with, never 50. But it worked. It went right through with no problem. So, as you can see, our projector we have, Maxsonic, is basically on a white screen, is generating a higher white level than gray at 50 lumens. I told you how I wanted to invest money into portable, because portable projectors really don't do so well because they have them all on white screens and they look really, really bad. And we really want to invest more money into portables. So portables are fantastic. I mean, you can take them where you want. They're not heavy. They don't generate a ton of heat in the process. Like I'd be cooking right now on the other projector when I'm using these, and it's comfortable. And that's just an all-around fantastic machine. But the only problem is the only screens they have for portable are white screens and light gray. And yeah, they're horrible. So this is where we have a whole product line of portable flex screens coming up, which we'll be showing more of those off. Live, we're not going to do much now because, again, the lives eat up a lot of freaking time. They do. A lot of time. Especially when I'm in a rambling about trains and moons and whatever nonsense I'm talking about in the day. Not nonsense, but, you know, I carry on. I kind of go off in a different direction. We need to keep it focused. This is some serious stuff we have here now. So there's going to be a lot of promos popping up. A lot of them. So these promos that you see here on YouTube, again, they show up on multiple sites. I got people analyzing my stuff right now. They're asking us tons of questions. Yeah, it pretty much upsets the gray screen completely. What I mean, and don't take it offensively, don't get upset, but it's changing of technology. It's going to happen sooner or later. You know, I'm surprised a gray screen was able to survive this long, due to the fact that you have other screens out there that are much more superior. So now, at this particular point, it's not worth anything at all. And the reason why it's not worth anything at all, because you really don't have a leg to stand on here. You can't generate a contrast level next to a black screen. That's virtually impossible. We all know that. And the only holy grail you had left was your white levels, and now that's gone. Because now this screen right here, and I don't know about other ones, because again, I've seen other people with black screens before. Oh my goodness, come on, man. Y'all can't be posting that stuff within. That's absolutely horrible. I'm sorry, but I'm literally going to have to start taking people to court. If you have a black screen, you don't have that stuff properly tested, you make other black technology look bad. Because people are going to think, oh, if this stuff looks that bad, his stuff has to look that bad. We literally have to start challenging some people in court over this mess. But anyway, so I gotta say this, because you know I gotta say what I gotta say. I'm a man that speaks my mind. Mr. Williams, 21 feet back. It's not a 120-inch screen. It's not a 120-inch for anything at 121 feet. I'm an expert in the field. I've owned tons of projectors. I've been in the field longer than you have. 21 feet back is, you know how big a screen would be at any projector at 21 feet back? So you would never achieve 120 inches at 21 feet. That'd be roughly somewhere between maybe 14, maybe 15 feet in that area right there. I know, I've had several houses. And one of the houses I had was approximately around about 14 feet I had from the wall on the screen. I got about 126 levitating screen in that environment. So where the frick would you even get that number from? Yeah, that's what I talk about. People don't know what you're talking about. And we heard some of his what he talked about. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's screaming on camera, and there's no facts. There's no. Oh God, it's horrible. It's a freaking freak show over there. But anyway, let's move on. Anyway, getting back to the gray screen. You're obsolete. That's what it comes down to. By the time we broadcast this thing, we're all over the place with this. No one will touch a gray screen. They won't. Knowing that you got a black screen that can read a 100% contrast and overpower your screen easily, there's just no point in buying one. There's just no point. Yeah, I mean, it's not even worth painting over. And that's really true. Because again, if you go buy a white screen and you buy a gray screen from a generic manufacturer, they're going to charge you more for the gray. Of course they're going to charge you more for the gray. So you're going to pay $100 more for a screen you're going to barely paint over it? No, you're going to paint over the white screen. They're cheaper. So you don't even have a purpose there. Color balance? It's not there. You don't even have color balance on this technology. It turns all your colors a kind of tinted orangey gray. That's what it does to it. So, God, I guess that's it for you. And I was on a bunch of forum sites of people that make gray screen paints, and people were saying, well, guess we got to start pushing toward darker products. I've kind of been telling you guys that for a freaking long time. I've been telling you this. So this is our projector here. We have it on this one over here. This is on the PlayStation. The other one's on PC. Oh, the person was asking about the Brookstone. Brookstone is name brand projector. Brookstone was around with a company called Sharper Image. I bought that in an airport a long time ago. So yeah, they've been around for quite some time. When you said that we don't support knockoffs, Brookstone's not considered to be a knockoff. You ever heard of a company, Sharper Image? It was a big company back in the day. So yeah, those projectors are not knockoff. And keep in mind that if we get a projector and it functions and works, and we have to have it on over 140 video demonstrations for me to declare it that our product is compatible with it, it means it has to go through a lot of testing. White levels, contrast levels, color levels, fully lit environments, all that stuff. It has to go through the whole 9 yards before we can dub it one of our projectors. Other than that, we won't touch anything else. And whatever's on the list is what's on the list, and that's all we support. I already had to turn somebody away yesterday who had a WeMax and Valva and whatever projectors he had over. There's a bunch of them, but the ones we don't support. And he wanted the black technology, and I said, hey, I'm sorry, but we can't support it. We can't sell you the product, so it's not going to work. When the whatchamacallit comes out, the clear comes out, they'll be able to work on those projectors with no problem. Oh, by the way, so 4 tiles of that clear we have over there is around 1,300 something. The black is a little different because it's a different form of technology. So for those squares, it's going to be around $2,700. So you know that. For those people thinking it's outrageous, it's not expensive at the end of the day. And the reason why it's not expensive, because these screens can do things that other screens can't do. I mean, you have other options out there that you can go to. I mean, you don't have to buy from us. Other people buy from us. It's not a problem. If they didn't, I wouldn't be here right now. My business wouldn't exist if other people didn't buy from us. So if you feel that's too expensive, then you have to go someplace else. I mean, I'm not going to bring the price down. It's a very reasonable price. It has does things that other screens can't do. And besides, we already have a clientele and orders that'll be coming in for this thing before I can even get this thing off the ground. Because I got people right now pumping my email account asking for when it's going to come out. We went to a forum site, we showed it off, and they were like, "Oh shoot, what the freak is that?" So yeah, now they're thinking like, "What's this going to look like in my dedicated theater room? What's this going to look like in my business? What's this going to look like in my office?" Which apparently we're in an office right now. So yes, a lot of people are curious now about the tile systems. They're freaking beautiful. Especially in the gaming community, especially when we did with a 1050 graphic card. So you say you don't read. Now that 50 lumens you cannot pick up. See the contrast levels, you can't read that either. Which means on this 50 lumen, 50 lumen projector we have over here, you can't read the contrast levels. You can't read the white levels. It doesn't register, which means it makes your screen completely now obsolete. Because one thing gray screens talked about the most, it's the fact their ability to pull their white levels, and you don't have it anymore. So we're going to showcase this everywhere, which we have been doing. A lot of places. Let me see. Let's go with the... we got 4K snow screensavers and 4K snow screensavers. So we had explained to them that the project we're working on here is only at, one's at 10 and one's only at 15%. So imagine when the screen peaks at 100. If you thought your white levels came up extremely bad, imagine what 100% of this screen is going to do to your screen. It's going to be pretty bad. This is nothing right now. This is going to be pretty bad. I have 100% technology. We can't show you it, but it's really bad. Your screen apparently is not there. It's like these screens draw. Whatever gain or whatever your screen has the ability to pull, it pretty much absorbs it. Because the screen absorbs light. So it makes screens that lay against it completely unwatchable. Your gain pretty much diminishes to nothing. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? Screen that draws light, energizes off light, and all stuff like that. But for some people saying, well, we had a lot of people asking, like, what about if you're in the dark? You know, there's light physically in the dark, right? There is. And you wouldn't be able to see anything. I mean, the only place you would be at where you physically wouldn't have any light in the dark, you have to be in the center of a black hole. Then at that point, your projector wouldn't even fire up. You wouldn't see nothing at all because there's no light in the black hole. So physically, when you're in your room, there is light in your room. Like when people say I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. Like, what a freak were you at? You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. That is some serious darkness over there. Let me see. 4K. I'm looking at 4K. I'm looking at the wrong section here. I got to be right now. I got to do promo demonstrations in a few minutes because we need the promo demonstrations. We can't upload these in any sites. It doesn't work because it's a live stream. But the promos are pre-recorded, so we can load those anywhere we want. So that's why we're doing a lot of those. And right now, I'm rebuilding the website to get ready for advertising this technology for the front page. Now, yeah, we're asked the question, what about our screen paints? Quantum and Quasar has been tested against gray screens. They've all been tested against white screens. All that stuff. So we back up all our stuff. So I'm happy to have you to do that. Let me see. 4K snow and snow screensavers. We don't have microphones hooked up, so we're doing it the old-fashioned way. Snow screensavers. I need snow. Snow. Yeah, snowboarding. Wow, we get everything we want except for what we asked for. Snow. Now, I thought you were going to keep it seriously. You know, my investors want for this technology. It's pretty crazy. We can get it. We have people that'll buy it. There's a different clientele of people that will buy it because of the money wise. I can get roughly around $4,000 a tile, literally, because there's nothing like it. That's the one thing I know about people with substantial wealth like to have things that other people can't get. And I got people that'll market it. My buddy's like, dude, I got so many people, man, that I know at the end of the day will pay so much money for this. It's not even funny. Now we do that, then what happens? That means the scales tilt again. That means bottom line, it comes back to the have and have nots. That's what happens. Because now the technology is out of reach. It's in an area where only certain people can get access to it. And that means the everyday Joe can't touch that screen. You'd have to save up for one of these things. You would have to go in, you have to spend your entire income tax would kill off one of these things. And these things are going to be very expensive. You're about 3 to 4 grand a tile. And this is a 24 by 36. We have tiles that are way bigger than this. 48 by 48, 36 by 72, 48 by 96. Those are massive size tiles. You imagine what one of those would cost? And you're talking about a very expensive piece of technology now. And then that would the people who make the other certified screens can say, well, at least we're not expensive as that guy. Their stuff costs more than ours of the day, but our stuff is better. We can prove it. No, we're trying to keep our stuff reasonable so everybody can afford it. Let me see. And that way we can have some fun with the certifieds, because you can say, hey, well, our stuff is cheaper than yours, and 4 times better than yours, or 10 times better than ours. I'm just having you look at that black background on the Sony and seeing that it doesn't read on the gray screen. So your gray screen's protest was your white levels. Which you don't have anymore. Mind you, this is a black screen. It generates at 50 lumens. It can register a white level higher than your gray screen. That should be registering a higher white level than us. It should, if anything, we can blend into it. But the fact that your screen looks like that next to this, that's bad. At 50 lumens, at 15% on this technology, yeah, that's why you're saying obsolete. We got it everywhere. So it's not just YouTube, it's everywhere. I belong to 16 different forum sites. I'm on every single one of them. Some of the forum sites are company forum sites, and they only allow to put their stuff on there. But they let our stuff go on there because we have stuff that nobody else is showing off. That's why they approve us. Every time we go on there, they let us show it off. I've had companies buy our stuff. I know where it's going. That's what happened. We had those containers sitting on the table. I was in a company site and I was showing off the Quantum, and they bought it. One was a movie theater. One was our movie screen studio bought it. So yeah. But that's it. It's over. I want you to look at that. Remember that. It's over. Can't operate next to a black screen, especially one that can read a white level literally so high that it draws your light from your screen. It's actually drawing light from the gray screen. That's why I can't produce. Any ability that you have, unless you're picking up neutral white, which is the technology you have, that's the only way to compete with one of these. Because your white levels are all white screens. White levels will always come up. I don't care what screen it is. I don't care if it's Diamond, Elite Screens, DMP, Supernova, Daylight. I don't care who it is. A white screen's always going to pull up the highest white level because it's neutral white. That's why. Just like black screens are going to pull up a higher contrast level than any screen because they're neutral black. If they're neutral black, if they're not, they're going to have other problems. But a gray screen, any capability that it may have, the ability to be able to pull any somewhat of white light, won't exist against one of these screens because it draws your screen. It darkens your screen. It's like a term is vampire in your screen right now. It's drawing the light out of it. At 50 lumens, you can't register. Right there. That's why I did it live. I want you to see that. Now, Do we require high-end projectors? No, I'm sitting on tabletop projectors right now. That's a huge change. You can see it right there. That's a massive, huge change between night and day. Now, what does this mean? So, yeah, certified screens too, gray screens too have the same issue. I got to bring a few in to show them off. Same issue. They're gray. You know why I know they have the same issue? Because off camera, I did some tests. I ran everyday household products against certain screens to see if they would match. So I'm confident to say that they'll have the same issue. That's why when I watch people doing demonstrations against gray screens and they go, oh, but it has a yellowish tone and this, that, and the other. I can't see that at all, period. I can't, no one can see it, no. It's supposed to be a difference between night and day. That's what it's supposed to be. Between night and day. See the difference between the multiple form sites? They all can see it. See? There you go. Won't register, doesn't read. That's why we up the contracts are updated now. So we know, bar none, that if anyone comes up and makes a statement that their gray screen was able to make these screens look dark, we're looking at an easy $5 to $10 million. Oh, wait, I forgot to talk about the jail time behind one of these things too. Basically, it's also stated this is a fraud charge, a serious fraud charge against this technology. I have investors involved in this stuff. So that means if you basically, maximum setting for fraud, yeah, it would be about 30 years. So it comes with a 30-year prison sentence. All that policy will be there at the bottom of the screen, explains all that stuff, everything there. I'm going to have a lawyer write it all out for us. So it'll be right there. Now, the only people have nothing to fear, I'm not worried about that. They're taken care of. The other people we had problems with, they're taken care of. They're done. We already finished that Monday morning. That's done. We're moving on. We're talking about other people. If other people feel the need to do this, just keep in mind that, like I said, it's not going to go well for you. We can walk into a courtroom, and I could do this in a courtroom very easily. So this will cost you a great deal of suffering in your life. Just enjoy the screen. That's it. You don't like it, don't buy it. That's all. That's what it comes down to. You don't like it, don't buy it. But if you're going to be going on doing fake demonstrations, yeah, I've got some people I've hired. They'll find you. They'll definitely find you. There's no problem. And if you see a black letter pop up in your mailbox, that be from us, because we're only ones going to have everything in black. All my contracts are being designed in black. That letter pops up and it has their company's name across it. The law firm that represents us. You already know you got sued. We don't do cease and desist orders. I'm not doing that. It's a waste of time. You send a cease and desist order out. Sometimes people obey it. Sometimes they don't. You got to warn them. They don't listen. It's a waste of time. And just give them a contract, give them the ability to back it up in court, and if they don't, lose $5 million. If you don't want to sign it, we already know from the door if you don't want to sign it. They're telling me right there from the door you can't back it up if you don't sign it. That's just basic common sense. Even the judge is going to ask you, get you in court, going to drill you on it. The lawyer's going to ask you, why didn't you sign the document? What are you going to say? Yeah, you made the videos, right? We got your videos all documented up on the screen. Okay, we all can see you slandered the company, so why won't you sign the document? All right, then that's why you can get sued for $10 million now. That's when the process server pops up. That's how we're going to do business. That's how we're going to do everybody. And I think more companies are going to start following what we do. They're going to get rid of that whole crease and disorder nonsense and just start straight out giving people the ability to back up their claims by basically challenging them in court at a serious amount of money. I actually have a few friends of mine that are attorneys and sat there and said, that's a fantastic idea. It is a fantastic idea. Because then you would have to back that up. Boy, that'd have been fantastic. If Diamond sent me one of those things, oh man, that wouldn't have went well for them at all periods. They sent us a crease and disorder one time. They were mad because, I don't know, they certain things they wanted to go a certain way. We didn't want to go in that way. But you don't contact somebody saying your product has potential and then later on hit them with a crease and desist order. But if they had hit me with one of them things about for $500,000 or two, we would have cleaned the clock in court. Definitely would have cleaned the clock in court. We'd have sent me one of, oh, what? Wait, what? Oh, really? You want me back this up? Oh, problem. I signed that sucker. See you in court. I'd have beat the daylights out of one of those screens in a courtroom. Heck yeah. Send me one of those. Please send me one of those things. I dare one of these companies to send me one of those kind of contracts. Make one up and send one over to me. I would love it. I'll definitely sign that. See what I mean? See my energy at the end of the day? See my energy. Versus when we send these contracts to other people and they get scared and they don't want to sign it, they don't want to talk about it, whatever. There you go. You just told us at the end of the day that we can drag you to a courtroom and we can clean your clock in there. You just told me that. The minute we send you one of those and you don't want to sign it, you've already told me the whole story about your whole claim from the door. Because anyone that can back it up, they're going to show up. They're definitely going to show up. You're going to bring extra people with you? Because I want people to witness this. Then they're going to bring a camera. I want all this recorded and documented. You know you're in trouble when somebody's hyped up like that. See how off tints the color? The blues come up shady. They come up with a grayish look to it. Everything comes up grayish. So this technology reads at 50 lumens. And the gray screen, even everything comes up with that gray tint attached to it. Boy, I never thought I'd see the day. But we didn't have a screen that can register. I'm not just to develop great technology back in the day. Wow. But yeah. Yeah. I wish they did send me one of those things, man. I'm like, oh, heck yeah. Where's the airline tickets? When are we doing this? I'd have been hyped up. That's why they don't send us to it. They don't send us documents like that. Because they know at the end of the day we would sign them things in a hot second and pop up in court, and it would not go well in there. So yeah, we don't get those. Look at that. That's unbelievable. Look at that. 50 lumens, people. Look at that. 50 lumens. 50 lumens. We're on the Cumi. Not the Cumi, sorry. We're on our Maxsonic. Now, for anyone asking about the Maxsonic, well, what about the Maxsonic? We've been using the Maxsonic for years. Go back and check how far the Maxsonic goes back on my account. We've had the Maxsonic for years, which means that we have tested it on just about everything you can think of, and it works. It's one of the projectors that we do support because it does work. It doesn't read the contrast. Doesn't pick up anything. So, okay, we're done here. I got promos to do today. I got a very busy day today. And pretty soon we're going to be showing this off. We get our showroom and everything set up. This is going to be in the showroom. We got to show it off in the showroom. And don't doubt we got to show it in the showroom. So, those of you people at the end of the day that are pretty much don't believe, you can come down and see it for yourself on what this technology is designed to do. Because I want to have it broadcasted everywhere. I'm on forum sites right now. I got chatter going on. So much chatter going on Facebook right now. It's not even funny. There's so many questions we got asked. Oh my goodness. 21 feet back. No. 21 feet back is a huge screen. It's bigger than 150. About 150 would be roughly about what's in that range, maybe. 21 feet. He doesn't use Projector Central. That's what the problem is. People second guess stuff. Like 2 quarts of paint a 300-inch screen. That freaking Mickey Mouse scenario. Don't know what they're talking about. They're just making stuff off the top of their head because they don't do the research at all, period. That's the dumbest thing I've heard in my entire life. You know, you're telling people that. I told you from the door, I bumped into all types of people in this business. The majority of people that are painting the screen of that caliber have painters. They have their own painters. And the painters will get on the phone and have a conversation with you. They'll talk to you. These are guys that have painted for years. They're professionals in the field. And they'll ask you questions. Sometimes they ask you questions to see if you know what you know. And if he painter would have got on that phone and had a conversation with him about that whole fiasco, about that whole freaking 2 quarts paints a 300-inch screen, he'd be like, wait a minute, we're missing some paint here. What's going on here? So you're saying that 2 quarts of that, and he can tell 2 quarts can tell that. You got painters out there that can smell it, feel it. They can tell what kind of paint it is. They've been doing this for years. He's going to say, we don't have enough paint. That's impossible. You tell him it's the equivalent of three 100-inch screens, he's going to go on his phone and look it up, like a measurement of a 100-inch screen, what you're going to be, the calculation 7 feet, 4 feet by 7 feet, that doesn't even add up. You know what he's going to do? He's not going to argue with you. He's going to say, wish you good day. He's going to walk over to the owner and say, he doesn't know what he's doing. I wouldn't paint this up to that surface. I advise you get your money back. And that's what he's going to advise. We're going to contact you and tell you they want your money, they want their money back. Due to the fact that you don't know what you're talking about. Because the painter is the one he's going to trust. He's going to trust that painter over you. That painter's been doing work for him for a very long time. So whatever he says is what goes. So if you can't know how to talk to the painter, then the painter's going to reply back to the owner and say, get your money back. And if you pull one of those stunts saying, yeah, you don't want to do that, because these people will take you to court on that kind of stuff. You know, they want the money back, they got a project to be done. And first of all, the part that would be more of a big, it'd be a big lawsuit, I'll tell you why. Usually screens of that size means they're doing something. That's when I have people saying, I'm getting a 300 screen. Like, what are you doing with a 300 screen? Like, what do you got, an event coming up? You got a show, something's coming on. It's always something big when it involves big, giant screens. So chances are they got the painter in there, they got the sound crew in there, they got caterers, all that stuff. They're having some big event. That's why they need a screen that big, that a bunch of people come in to watch this giant screen, whatever presentation they're doing. So if it comes to a point where the painter can't do it and they can't get the screen done in time, you're going to pay for all that because of what you said. That when you basically went in and misrepresented your product, they'll go to court and say, hey, look, this person didn't know what they're talking about. There's no way in the world you're going to be able to paint this much paint down here, so and so. And then even if you sit there and you try to say, well, the customer should have known better, the customer can say, hey, I'm naive at the end of the day. I didn't know. So it's not the customer's fault. Truthfully, it'd be the fault of the person that's selling it because they're supposed to know the product because it's their product. So now they can charge you for the cost of the caterer, the band, and everything else it took to put that whole entire thing together, including the fees they'll have to pay to push the date back, and the inconvenience and the stress and headache they had to go through because you lied in your specification sheets. That's how serious lawsuits can pop off. So if you want to go on and play games at the end of the day and put fake specifications in, remember the repercussions are going to pop up if someone is buying large quantities of your product and they have an issue where basically it's not doing what it's supposed to do, and there's could be problems with it. At the end you can't troubleshoot your own stuff because you didn't test it correctly. You know, you're just giving a bunch of mumbo jumbo on top of a bunch of mumbo jumbo, you're going to have problems on your hands because they will drag into a courtroom. That's why you got to know your stuff. A 250-inch screen, the work it takes to pull up a 250-inch screen without a frame, I did it already. I had the experience. I've done it already. I've done 3 or 4 of them. So I know what it's like to actually hang a 250-inch screen without a frame, which is interesting. It's a tether system, which I had to design for it, but it's interesting. If someone comes up to me and asks me to put something in, I know it because I did it already. You have to know that. Oh, and by the way, to Mr. Williams, that's not direct sunlight. Sorry. Direct sunlight would mean that you would have sunlight directly hitting the screen. That's direct sunlight. That wouldn't even count as 100,000 lux or 120,000 lux of sunlight. This demonstration you see with the screen sitting in a window or lights piercing through it, that's a direct hit from sunlight. But not where you're at. That's not direct sunlight. And your screen, again, we watched it. A couple of my friends sat there and watched your video. Again, with the ranting and everything and all the other stuff that's going on in that environment, I'm not getting into that. Oh, my goodness, I don't know how people live that way. But anyway, your screen washed out horribly. I mean, horribly. You couldn't even see it. It was horribly. And this is a problem I see in the field of projection. I see people who do demonstrations and these, they call it their extreme well-lit environments. And if the screen shows one little image on it, they consider it to be a massive improvement. It's not. That screen has to show from corner to corner. That's why they show the corners of the screen. When they turn to the side, they show the angle gain of the screen picking up corner to corner. If you see that little slither of light pushing all the way down, that means the screen is picking up a beautiful angle at 180 inches. That's why you should be to slam right against the wall and pick it up. But if we're seeing little bits and pieces of the screen or the image, and it's gone, and it's just really dark, and no, that's bad. That's extremely bad. So no. And no one will touch that with a 10-foot pole. You're just being entertained, that's it. People like to entertain nonsense. That's pretty much what it is. Any form site, they be like, where's your screen at? It's not acceptable. I see that with white screens and gray screens all the time. Screen's not even there. It's barely there. Like the fellow who was watching the soccer game. That's not an acceptable screen. It's horrible. His screen's it's gone. You can't even see half of it. It's gone. So yeah, that's pretty bad. With the colors and how dim they were on his screen, he would never pass a white level test. And again, white level test, you're not looking at the ceiling. The screen has to be directly on top of the screen so people can see the comparison. Pointing to a ceiling doesn't do anything at all, period. It's not a comparison. It has to be on the screen. This is why I tell you people don't know what they're doing. It's actually a pretty shame. It's sad. Anyway, getting back to this. Well, it is what it is. Yeah, the screens generate much higher white level than that. So let's go over and swip over to the Cumi, which is 300 lumens. This is 50 lumens. We're going to switch over to 300 lumens. Let's get an all white screen in here. Matter of fact, let's use this one. You know the font, see how the reds and all that don't pop up? Yeah, yeah. All right. I'm going to do another promo demonstration pretty soon. We're done this. I'm doing a promo demonstration. We're going to do black levels, and we're going to switch it over to white levels back and forth to show you that the gray screen can't read either one. We're going to do a white screen in the dark, because I get that all the time. I'm going to be in the dark anyway. I'm never going to see a difference, and this, that, and the other. So we're going to do that one too. So these are all going to be promo demonstrations. I like to use 80s music as much as possible. I'm a big fan of 80s music, so that's what I like to use. All right, let's go from here, and let's take this one out. This projector right here has a short throw lens on it, and I noticed it because I don't have to be, I can be right up on top of the screen right here and pick up. This one I got to be all the way back here, and I still didn't fill out the whole entire screen. So there's definitely a difference in the lenses here. This is what I was talking about when it came to the flex surface. The flex surface, this doesn't have to be this far away. This doesn't have to be that far away on the flex surface. This one has to be farther back. So if I bring this back a little bit farther, my focus clicks. On this one, I can be right here. My focus will click nicely. But this one has to have a bit of a short throw lens on it. I'll show you in the demonstration. These are definitely two different projectors. We're going to be doing a lot of demonstrations on smaller portable projector. I told you we're getting into that field. We get the screens called Screens on the Go. Home theater on the go. We're going to be showing those off pretty soon. Fantastic for the summertime. You can take this anywhere you want. Set it up. Watch a movie. The whole 9 yards. So we're going to be doing a whole portable station system where I got a little buddy generator system coming. This little small, compact, little power station. I can charge it up to anywhere in Allentown because there's outlets everywhere. So we're going to hook it up to that. And we're going to have a flex surface with that. So the flex surface is going to be the 12 by 12. 12 inches by 12 inches with a fantastic surface. One's going to be flexible with a stand that pops out in the back that you can put into a tube. So we're going to be using some cool stuff with portable screens. I do like the portable projectors a lot. And this one's charged with, of course, it's running through the PlayStation right here, but it also charges off your cell phone charger. Sorry, not Apple. Won't work with those. There's your little buttons right there to tell you how much your charge is on. This has a battery pack, so I can basically operate this without the charge. Get baby to come on. There we go. See? And that tells you the lights that pop up. It'll tell you basically how much you have left. That's basically about it. The only thing with this projector right here is the fact that the USBs don't work for what they're intended to be used for. That's the only problem. With this one, on the other hand, it's different. This one right here, the USBs, you can plug all kinds of cool stuff in this thing and run it. But the problem is, without the remote control, you can't get access to the menu, which you need to get into actually to be to shoot a video feed through. And that's what I was going through. I was trying to figure out, like, where the frick is the menu at? When you hit on this on the menu, it just basically shows all the options, like flash drive, SD card, all that stuff. It has more outputs in it. And it's good 300 lumens, but it's a nice sort of portable. This is the Q2. The Q5 is a little different. The Q5 is 500 lumens. This is 300 lumens. And the Q5 has a battery pack on it. They're about $100, basically about it. And there's no power down button. You just switch on and off and you're done. That's it. They take a mini HDMI port too, by the way, so if you know that. All that right there from the door. That has regular HDMI, and this has the mini port. So you just click this baby on. I swear, every time now I hear, like when I turn something on, I hear Sega, do 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 do, because they're fans of retro games for somebody. And now I hear, that's all I hear in the background, on the back of my head. It's like Sega. So as you can see, we switched over now to 300 lumens. We're at 300, whopping 300 lumens, and this is what we're getting at 300 lumens. Same thing. We got bright in the screen. We're getting there's still yellowish, grayish color from the gray screen. And now we'd have gone from PlayStation to PC. $4K Snow screensavers. And voila. So we have a black screen that literally reads a white level higher than a gray screen. But not only that, it offsets the gray screen. I'm gonna show you something. This is very interesting right here. I saw this in the Skyworth demonstration. Skyworth food demonstration. That it throws the color completely off balance on a gray screen. Look, you know the black intro can't read. Look at that. Look at the massive difference in that right there. Everything on the gray screen has a weird kind of yellowish, reddish, orange. It's a weird color. My buddy was over here looking at it. He was like, what in the world? Like, what'd you do to the other screen? I said, nothing. It's a regular gray screen. It's what it does to it. I put two surfaces up here. That one was a lighter mix. One was actually more of a darker mix. One was actually the 2 tablespoons of black paint into white paint. And the other one was actually the apple barrel paint. Then went in and we took a certified, that darker screen was a certified, that was a daylight. That's a darker certified, daylight certified screen. That doesn't read next to it in white levels. And you would think they would pull a higher white level because, again, they're gray over a black surface, right? Not today, you won't. Look at the difference in the cup. Look at the cup here. Look. Look at the cup color on the gray screen. And look at it over here. I need to get a pointer. Dirty. Back on those pointers. Look at it right here. Look at our technology and look at it on the cup. Look at that. It just completely changed it. Look at the pans. Look at the pans. Look at the colors of the pans. Look at this. It literally has drawn the color. It zapped the color. It zapped the white levels. I don't know. It did something weird to the screen. And mind, this is 15%. This thing peaks 100%. What do you think it did to a gray screen at 15%? I'm curious what it did to a white screen at 15% now. I'm kind of curious about that now. But if we get a white screen and turn dark on a black technology, you have any idea how much that technology is going to be worth? That is going to be crazy. If we get one at 100% does that? Oh, that is going to be, man, that's going to be, yeah, it's going to be something. I'm so baffled by this. Look at that. Look at the color difference. It literally changed the screen completely. Even the pans are coming up even in a different color. All right, let me go here. So as you can see, everything's coming up with that reddish, weird color to it. Yeah, it has altered and changed the color of a gray screen. And I'll take it off and lay it down flat. You can expect it. It's gray. I had some people saying, oh, but that has to be like red in it. There's no red in it. That's actually gray. I'll paint one up for you and throw it up there. Got no problem with that. Consider to a person who has tons of, the only one right now who has the most black on black tests on his product right now. Nobody else won't do them. I've seen other black screens up there. They won't do those tests. You know why? They'll match it. I can tell by looking at their product. They'll match any black paint out there. They'll match it. And that's why they make you do pour outs. Pour outs. Any company's going to request a pour out. A pour out means you have to pour out the paint side by side. They have to overlap and spill on top of each other so they can see both of them are black. Because some people try to mix it and make it look gray. But if you do it gray, you're going to have a problem because that means that the grayer version that you try to make, it's going to actually pull a much higher white level, which is going to damage your screen's demonstration. That's going to be a problem. Getting to the gray screen, if you look at this, it's the problem that the gray screen has. It's the fact that whatever color you choose, you still can't beat the screen. We showed you that. We go with a lighter mix. It's lighter, but still the problem is that this screen produces a much higher white level. And you being lighter, what does that mean? It means your contrast fails. The screen does 100% contrast, so you still have to deal with the 100% contrast. You're so fixated with now at the white screen being to produce a high white level. Your biggest concern now is not only the white level, but you have to deal with the contrast of the screen. And the screen can absorb a ton of ambient light, which you can't be in. Because if you do that, your screen basically will start to diminish, and this is not going to help your screen. So now there's other bigger problems you're going to have if you face one of these. And if you go mid-dark, as we have right here, then another problem you have, your white levels now are not high enough to be able to compete with the screen that's actually producing a much higher white level. And you still can't match its contrast to begin with. So another problem is you can't match contrast because what falls from contrast, colors start falling. You can't pick up white levels, that colors start failing too. So another problem. Now what if you go with charcoal gray? Bigger problem now. Because now your screen's darker, you hit the sacrifice line, and now your white levels definitely can't generate against the screen because we showed it against a certified gray screen. And again, it can't pick up its contrast levels because the screen is 100% black. So between charcoal, mid-gray, and light gray are the only 3 categories in gray screen paint. And that's canceled every single one of them out. Look at her thumb. See her fingers? See that orange yellow color to it? Look at the P's. See how they're orange? They're off-centered? Yeah, it throws your colors off. So not only does it pick up a higher white level, it throws your color balance off completely. And mind you, we're at 300 lumens. We're on a QME 2 300 lumen portable pocket projector. Now look at her skin tones. See that off gray, orangey look to it? Yep. There it is again. See right here on her shoulder? Anything. It doesn't read white. It can't read it. So, that means on seeing this technology do this, this gives us the right to say that your screen's obsolete. I tested 3 different types of gray. I typed a light gray mix. I tested a medium gray mix, which we have here, and I tested a certified, not gray screen paint, dark gray screen paint. Tested a dark gray screen paint, they can't do it. And the reason why, because their white levels are really, really bad. A gray certified would be the best to test against because they're mastered to the white levels to a certain degree, much better than darker paints. that don't have any experience in the field. So that's why we went with the darker certified version. And the darker certified version doesn't pick up. Now I know we get the whole usual screaming and carrying and all that nonsense. As I said before, we're not worried about them. They're taken care of. They were taken care of on Monday. I contacted some very interesting people. I got some things taken care of. They're finished. They're done. We're moving on. We got other things to do right now. I'll let them do what they had to do. We do what we have to do on our end. They said not to engage. So we're not engaging on anything. They're handling it. It's already been taken care of. We're finished on that part. All I can say is see you in court soon. That's it. So we're done on that. All right. I said don't engage. I'm not engaging. I'm just telling you, see you in court. All right. So with this being said right here, as you can see, I'm not reading at all, period. Same thing with the corn. See how the corn has that yellowish, greenish, oranges, whatever. I don't know what kind of tone that is, but you can see it's completely off. And you'll see it again. There it is again. See right there? That orange, it just changes the screen. It's kind of like it's putting the screen through one of those like kaleidoscope. You ever looked at one of the things that have different colors are pushing back and forth? It looks like that. It's like a reddish color. So if it looks like yellow tries to produce on the screen, it comes up reddish. It's like it changes, it alters their color completely. That's some interesting stuff, isn't it? That's crazy. Now let's have a look at her face. As you can see right here. See? There's that pinkish, yellowish, weird color that comes off the gray screen. And ours is basically perfect. Oh, and a shuffle black on black demonstration. I love those. I do those. I got another one to put up for our tile system. I'm going to put up there real quick on the black versus black. So I can post at the bottom. I got to do a couple of those. I definitely want to be showing that off today. Picking up some new fabric too on top of that. Put it against the screen. I want something new. And do something different. See again, when I told you about that yellowish, reddish color that comes off the gray screen? Look at that. That doesn't, the color on the gray screen doesn't look natural. Well, in ours, it's a natural yellow. Now you see why we went in and changed the contracts, right? There you go. That's why we changed them. Yeah, I'd be a madman to keep it at $500,000. That's insane. What if a company challenged me at the end of the day? Yeah. That's why we changed them. I would love to be to walk in the courtroom with this. This is going to be so much fun at the end of the day. Oh my goodness. I'm definitely bringing business cards with me. I'm passing out business cards. Not in the courtroom. Get in trouble outside the courtroom. This is incredible what this stuff is doing. And like I said, I didn't realize this at first. And the reason why I didn't realize it at first, because when we first did the test, we did the test against the the screen that was more transparent versus the screen that basically was more darker. To see the reaction, I didn't put a gray surface up there. A gray surface was put up there because I was going to be doing this demonstration showing this projector with the lights out, or without our screen being there, to show you that it doesn't pick up. And when I had it sitting up there, I was actually decided to go through my email accounts, and I looked up there and I saw the screen was discolored. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not possible. That's crazy, because usually the lighter screens do that reaction. They have that ability. They pull really high white level. I'm like, a black screen's pulling a level that high? So we got a great screen. And then later on, as I started doing the demonstrations, I started seeing things like it's throwing the color balance off on the gray screen. Completely throwing the color balance off. Yeah, look at the plate. There was something I wanted to do. Can't think of it. Oh, I'm gonna go into white projection screen. So no, white screen. White screen. White screen. There you go. Without any distraction, anything on the screen, different colors and whatever. Because people do that, they put a lot of colors and distractions and stuff and say, here's the difference. You need to see solid colors. That's why we show you solid colors first, so you can see exactly where the color levels lay. But that's comparison of our white levels versus a gray screen at 300 lumens. And we showed you in the first beginning at 50 lumens. That's literally how it is. You would think it would improve. The lumen count jumped, right? Nope, it actually gets worse. Don't know why, but it actually got worse. So how much did I pay for the QME 2? 40 bucks. $40. That's it. Now I know you got people out there saying, well, why screen penguin? Here's the kicker. One of the screen paints was made with 2 tablespoons of black paint into white paint. I made that mixture. I put it in several different forms of screen paint that I bought from an individual on YouTube, and it matched. It's called a black and white paint challenge. It was never ever, the person never did it. And they wouldn't go near it, he wouldn't do it. So that tells you at the end of the day, everything matched. So at the end of the day, any gray screen is going to have this issue. It's not going to be able to do. It's not going to be able to compete with this technology. That's the way it goes. All right, let's have a little fun here for me, because I like to do black versus black demonstrations. So I like doing those for fun for us, scary for others. Ain't that right, Pop? Fun for us, scary for others. I'm going to do that demonstration. You lost your mind. And how crazy those demonstrations are. I don't want to go near that. So we do these because, again, you're supposed to do these demonstrations. Now, you see how dark that comes up? Because the lights, any light that screen could possess, which it doesn't. The black paint doesn't possess any white light. But our screen's generating a white level so high that it's making the black paint look even darker. And it's actually drawing light out of the gray screen, whatever's left in it, and turning it dark. At 15% on a 300 lumen projector. So you imagine when the screen peaks at 100%. That's why we put down, and we can say it easily, obsolete. Which means that when this thing gets done broadcasting everywhere, no one's going to go near a gray screen with a 10-foot pole. Why would you? And this is why I've been saying for the longest time, you have to upgrade your products. You never know who's working where, developing what. But upgrade. This is what happens when people get too comfortable. "4K snow screensavers." And I can't express this enough that in demonstrations, you have to do these black on black demonstrations, gray on gray. You have to do those. We literally do more of these demonstrations than anybody on YouTube. What is the difference between your product and everyday household products? Because I would be highly upset if I paid the money for a paint and I find out it matched the house paint. Some people will contact the person and show them the results, and they shrug their shoulders and say, well, I'm not responsible for it. You open it up and land on your property nonsense. Most likely, they'll just let it go. But there are some people that will drag into a courtroom because they know they got substantial evidence. You didn't basically try to help them with the product or anything. You just basically shoved it to the side. And therefore, you just gave them the indication that you don't know what you're doing, and you sold them a scam product. So they're automatically going to take you to court on that. Us, we require ship back. Oh yeah, I would definitely love you to ship the product back. Why not? We'll test on YouTube Live so everybody can see it. If I can do it on YouTube Live, what do you think I can do in courtrooms? So, you're buying a product without a batch number, It's the equivalent of walking across a dental floss tightrope and someone throwing you a safe. You know what's going to happen once you catch it, right? There you go. Well, that's what you're doing. Look, everything has to have a guarantee on it. It has to. You would never purchase anything in life for your home, your family, your kids, whatever, without a guarantee sitting on top of it. That'd be madness. And if you call the company, you need to get test results. Okay, what's the results? You got tests on this. They can't even troubleshoot something if you don't test it. How do you know what the product's going to do if you don't test it? That's why another reason why testing is very important. You have to be able to troubleshoot your product. You have to be able to protect your product. What if somebody basically does something to your product? Can you tell the difference between your product? Can you tell if they tampered with it? We can. We can tell if you tampered with it. You can't. The cop-out excuse that a lot of people like to use is that once you use it, you can't send it back because it'll make the statement that you opened it up, you tampered with it. That's not right, because then you're accusing somebody of something that they probably didn't even do to begin with. It just didn't work. And they're coming to you for answers and questions. First of all, answers. They can't get anything back because the product's not tested. And if the product's not tested, how are you going to troubleshoot something that you don't even know anything about? So therefore, you don't know your own product. That's why when I look on form sites, I look on specification sheets, and I'm reading through your stuff like, what's the color of this stuff? Do you have a name for the color? What's the viewing angle on it? What type of projectors are we talking about here? It didn't say nothing there about Picos at the end of the day. You know, Picos have projectors. We have projectors called Picos too. What about outside? What's your activation time outside? You can't just say I operate outside. No, what is the activation time that your screen fires up? Is it 6 o'clock? Is it 7 o'clock? Which one is it? What about daylight saving time? You know, it changes right there too. What's the time for that too? Is it weatherproof? Do you have any video demonstrations showing this thing out a year, at least a year outside? You don't have that information. You're in a lot of trouble if someone paints up a screen and the head cracks in half or damages the material or something. You don't have that. What about paint and dry demonstrations, which means the person literally has to see the screen dry in front of them on camera to see what the reaction will be. The screen could dry spotty. It could be black on this side and gray on this side, or you can have all kinds of little specks from whatever was in the paint that didn't marry well. Could be a number of things that go wrong. You can't edit that part. That's a crucial part right there. Also, too, it shows the particular drying time of how long it takes for the screen to dry. We have tons of those demonstrations. Paint and dry demonstrations. We do them all the time. What about tension projection screens? How do you paint a tension? Tension projection screens are painted different than other projection screens. There are no demonstrations on that, so good luck on that one, because if you wreck those tension cables in there, you destroyed your screen. And the tension screen is very expensive if you mess one of those up. Rear projection applications, extremely important. Do you know your stuff? Do you know about what they call clear transfer? Can't say that it's rear projection. Rear projection has so many different forms of complicated, and not complicated, but more, it is a complicated item, because again, at the end of the day, you're designing an item that can be seen through on both sides. So most likely, if you're doing a front projection, you mess it up, you don't have to worry about it because you're not going to see the other side. No one's going to see the other side at all, period. It's unwatchable. So whatever's on the front is just going to be the front. You can mask that pretty good. But on a rear projection screen, this is a problem, because whatever mistakes you make in the front are going to transfer to the back. The type of projector is going to be needed. And clear screens require different projectors. Darker screens require different projectors. You have to know what type of projectors you're going to be using. You can't use any projector. You know about lens shifting technology on a projector, how to mount them, where to put them at, between where the lens is going to raise from here to there. You know, it's so much stuff you got to know. What about the angle gain? Clear screens usually have poor angle gains. Darker screens have better angle gain. But then when you're dealing with a darker screen, you're going to have to be able to transfer light through this thing. So the light's going to have to come through at 100% white. But if not, this disrupts all the colors around it. The ambient light rejection technology behind it's got to be extremely high, because the reason why is because it depends if you're doing like most people do. Most people will darken the back of a screen because any light transferring through the back would basically disrupt image from the front. So you got to know all this stuff. Was any of that stuff put in any of the specification sheets? No. Then you put down rollers. No, you can't roll over a rear projection screen. You know what happens? Because rollers will leave imperfections. Anything that touches that surface leaves as an imperfection. It makes contact. You got to use paint sprayers for those. That's what's required. You can use the finest roller you possibly can. It's not going to work. It's still touching the screen. You literally have to paint the screen without touching it. This requires a paint sprayer. Applications. Application with darker screens. Are you talking about one coat application, or are you talking about 3-coat application? If you're talking about how many coats you get to here, how many coats does it take to get to here? How would you measure that? There's tricks behind how you measure exactly how many coats is needed between a screen being visible and non-visible when you're looking at it. Any of that stuff on there. It is much, much more beyond that. There's so much stuff behind that. It's not even funny. If you got a screen by a pool, which most I like to use the rear projections because it's plexiglass, there's no mold or mildew or none of that stuff popping up. Oh, that's another thing too. On top of that, you have to know your surface too, especially if you're doing outdoor screens with the paint and all. You have to know your surfaces because you can't paint on anything you want. And what do you get? Don't they tell you they just build a screen out of wood? Well, what kind of wood are we using? Because we're going to be outside with this. Are you talking about treated wood? Or are you talking about wood that we have to treat at the end of the day? What about fixed frame screens? Fixed frame screens, I've done a couple of them outside. I learned a lot of lessons about putting a fixed frame screen outside. Yeah, you learn a lot of lessons about that. There is so much stuff that can go wrong with a fixed frame screen outside. They're beautiful outside. They're gorgeous. But there's so many things that can go wrong with that screen outside. It's not even funny. You'll have to be able to troubleshoot all this. One of the big problems you'll have is the bubble effect, which means if your screen is facing somewhere where sunlight can hit the back of your screen, sweat's going to form up, moisture's going to form up in the middle between the vinyl and your paint. And this would cause bubbles to push up off your screen because of the steam that pushes up inside of the screen. It can cause these little bubbles that pop up. Now what happens if you pop this bubble? Now you got problems at the end of the hand because when the bubble pops, you got this moon crater effect all over your screen. And you're going to have to scrape all that off, which again is going to be hard to do because you could end up tearing up the material in the same process of ripping a hole through it and trying to get this off. You got to know your stuff. You can't just be saying you can paint it outside. You're going to have to know every form of surface that's going outside and how it's going to react when it's outside. That takes years to learn all that stuff. So you mess up someone's screen, you're going to go to court for it. I'll give them a little pointer they can use for themselves right now. Screens that have velvet borders. Nightmare screens. What happens if you take velvet and you take it outside? What happens with velvet? It bleeds. Snow hits it, it gets spotty because there's salt. Water hits it, it bleeds into things. That's why if you ever had a pair of suede sneakers and you took them off and your socks were blue, because it'll bleed a little bit. That's the same that happens to a screen with the velvet border. So when it rains, you come outside, you can't wonder why you got these black lines all through your screen. It's because the velvet bled into your screen. I got a video demonstration showing you how to fix that. You can't just say on a video it's weatherproof. That's not enough. You have to show it's actually weatherproof. Where the heck is my whatchamacallit? Oh, I got it on me. Where is it? It's supposed to be here. But yeah, you got to know all that stuff. You work with wood? I do. You know about puttying, sanding, sawing, all that stuff like that? You got to know that stuff. You got to build screens and you got to build yourself in the day. You have to have some type of building skills. Because you're going to be building. I built a lot of my screens. I built a lot of my frames. All my stuff I built by hand. You know about wiring, speakers, transit, all that stuff. Yeah, you got to wire speakers sometimes into your system sometimes. You have to know that stuff. You're in a freaking, you're in home theater. You got to know about all that stuff. I used to work for tweeters when I was young. You remember tweeters back in the day, in silos. We had to go in, we had to hook up people's stereo systems and all that stuff. I know that stuff already. So, it's more than just mixing some paints together and this, that, and the other. You have to need, you need to know all that knowledge. And on top of that, that's not the have of. You still got to know the business part of it all. And DBAs, LLCs, license, several different, the licenses, permits, all that stuff. You can fill those documents out yourself. So, good luck on that. But until then, the future for gray screens, you're obsolete now. And if you want to challenge me on this, I would advise you not doing this because, again, if your screen lays against one of these screens, it's flatline, which means no one will buy your stuff at all, period. Just accept the fate, move on, and just basically go in and try to make something better. That's what you're going to have to do. Should have did that a long time ago. All right, then. That's basically about it. I'm going to continue my promo demonstrations. I got some I want to do on versus. I did the black one versus black. We had to do that today. We had to do some demonstrations on that all together. Let's show that off. All right, so let me show you this real quick. It's going to be a little kicker for you. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your freaking mind. Watch this. White screen. Let me show you something. I said white screen. White screen saver. It's gonna blow your mind. Let's blow your mind a little bit here before we get out of here real quick. I got promos to do. What happens if we turn the lights out? Do you think the gray screen would be able to produce its white levels with the lights up in the dark? Let's watch. No, that'd be virtually impossible. Due to the fact because the environment is now darker, that means our screen is now generating an extremely higher white level now. It's doing it in a well-lit environment with no problem, but now in a dark environment, this is where our screen will generate even better, even more advanced. So no, you wouldn't be able to pick up. Black paint won't pick up. Gray screen won't pick up. And a white surface can't make our product so dark you can't see it. Isn't that interesting? That's absolutely amazing. Amazing. Now, remember what I said, and I'm going to repeat this, and people don't like it, but guess what? I said it, so I'm going to repeat it over and over again. What did I say? If we were the fakes and phonies, at the end of the day, I said, may my Lord take away our blessings, may we be punished, may we be destroyed. Did I not say that? We now have a technology because I put my faith in my Lord and Savior. All our technology is blessed by Him. Everything we have comes by Him. We give Him all glory for all things. So with that being said, we have now one of the most advanced technologies on the planet. And I mean that. I have searched and I have done my research quite well on the technology we have here. We got nothing that can do what this screen can do. A black screen that generates a white level literally so high that it alters and changes a gray screen completely. Black paint can't even touch the thing. I want to have a ball with the black paint. So we're going to do black versus black on this thing, and we'll put their challenges. Which means anyone who claims to have a black screen, we expect you to complete all. What can we do? We do 20 of them. Yes, we must do 20. Other stuff we can get our hands on. I gotta go shopping. I gotta find some fabrics. Fabrics! So yeah, we expect for that to be done. Let me get some real quick. Give me a minute. Something I'm looking here to grab two on top. I'm always looking for something to go on the screen for fun. You know, that's how I do things. But they're challenges. They're expected to be done. Now we know you won't do them because you can't back yourself. We don't have any tests at all, period. You can't do one of those. You can't do black on black. If you haven't touched your stuff, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. So you know how that works, right? Let's go over here. Let's put this here. All right, now that's the difference between our white levels and the white surface. If we can get it to stay up there, would be nice. There we go. Now, white being a neutral color, it has the ability to pull a higher white level. Of course, it's higher than the gray screen, and it's much higher than the black screen, as you can see, right? Of course, the black paint that can't generate a white level. But our surface in the middle, that white surface, is not making our stuff unwatchable. It's making the other screens unwatchable. Oh, I should have flipped that out a little bit on that side. I wanted some of that to hit the gray screen too. Oops, how dare you. Doing a demonstration. See right there. This is much better because I don't have to worry about stuff falling off and hitting the ground and all that stuff, you know. So as you can see, that the white surface next to any one of the gray screens would basically overpower the gray screen very, very easy. It overpowered the black screen. Makes both of them unwatchable. When it comes to our technology, as you can see, it doesn't make our screen unwatchable. "4K is no screensavers. 4K is no screensavers. We ever get what we want?" Should have got it right there. Oh yeah, there it is. One of them. And there she go. Oh wait. Let me bring it down a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm gonna get over. I want to overlap some of that gray screen. Really wanted it here, but it's sticky. Let me get some more tape or something. I know I got tape in here. I got some kind of tape. I just cut some tape up. Yeah, lights out, gray screen don't work. So, just so you know, that if you get the lights out and you know your product works better in the dark, it won't help you at all, period. It'll be worse for you in there. So we're gonna do in the promos, which you'll see soon. We're gonna do lights out demonstration on gray screens. Do they work next to the technology in the dark, where they're actually known to be at? Or will they be able to produce their white levels better? No, their white levels fail even worse, because remember, our screens generate an even more higher white level because there's no light in the environment. That's why. But it's far worse for them. Yeah, as you see right here, lay this out, you see the difference. I just cover my screen over too much. I did, and we can see the top parts right here and here. I'm good. So you can see how much of a massive difference. That's okay. Let's do it this way instead. All right. Let's take the white surface and let's put it against the gray screen and see how much it loses. Right. Especially when sitting next to our technology. So as you can see, it loses a great deal. Where our screen, right there at the bottom, right there, here and here on the white screen, it's not really, the white screen's not really changing or altering it. It's only changing and altering the gray screen. Because the gray screen's white levels are being zapped out by our screen. Our screen's killing the gray screen right now. So it doesn't have the ability to be able to compete with a white surface because it's laying against our screen. It'd probably do a lot better if our gray screen, if our technology wasn't there. Then it'd probably be to produce its white levels a little better. But it can't produce anything because our screen's zapping it, as you can see. Now, over here with the black paint, as you can see, we're going to put over there, it won't be able to read either. So, as you can see, the white levels on our technology look absolutely amazing. Next to us, and next to the gray screen, it's zapped. We'll have to come back and do one more live demonstration. We have to do with the lights out, because this has to be explained. We can't explain this in a promo. All right, we'll come back in. We're going to talk about lights out comparison with the white screen next to the gray screen, showing you that how our screen is zapping the color out and the white levels out of the gray screen, now giving it a chance to be able to show up against a white surface. As you can see, it's a massive difference there. We'll be back in. All right, we'll be back.